Okay, we're back from the break. Just wanted to go ahead and add another 15 minutes to the show. And I was so glad to have Bevelyn Williams with me. And it was such a great interview. And you can see all the things she went through. And this made me think of what one of our listeners and of the audience sent to me. And it was about narcissists. And it was about how you can tell what a narcissist is. Now, you can see the article that she sent me, but I'll also show it in real form as we go through some of these. We're going to spend about the next 15 minutes talking about this. I feel sometimes our government and people who are in the government sometimes are narcissists, and for different reasons they play us. And as Beverly and I were talking, they also play us against each other. And those are just things I don't like. And I know you don't as well. So let's think about this not only within a family, not only within friends, but within the elected officials that we have elected, and see if some of these you feel like, I know I do, feel like some of these have the narcissist traits. Okay, number one, and I just wanted to mention this one right here. Number one is believe the red flags the first time. Don't ignore lies, love bombing, gaslighting, or disrespects for your boundaries early on, and just don't ignore it. Stop giving the benefit of the doubt when they do act up, and they do that. So, you know what? Bevelyn and I were talking about that, and I said, does that sound a little bit like narcissistic behavior to you? And she agreed with me on that as well. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this one right here. It's called setting boundaries. You know, we got to do that. Now, when you set boundaries, also enforce them, and you'll see that on number two. Don't just say, I don't like that. Show it by walking away when the boundary is crossed. Now, narcissists test boundaries to see what they can get away with. And it's more common than you think. And sometimes they'll just to see if they can trigger your emotions. And it's all about emotions. Now think about it this way. Think about when you hear someone from the government, and it's almost like they're pitting people against each other. What they're doing is they're playing on your emotions. That's how they get you, okay? They find out what makes you tick. And this is, I'm not talking about just the government here. I'm talking about, it could be family members. It could be friends that you think you have, or coworkers. Maybe your boss is this way. They study you, and they figure what ticks you off. They figure what gets your goat. And that's what they use. Now, I know I was watching a 2020 segment once, and it was about someone's ex-boyfriend. Well, he killed the woman, but before he killed the woman, he started working on her because she had a son, had another dad. But anyway, he used that son against her, so he had her afraid. He sent letters and notes to her without letting her know it was him. She figured it out later, but anyway, he sent letters and saying things like, you know, I'm going to pick up your son from school, and just, you know, just little things. I'm going to make your son sick. Well, it worked on her mentally. And what he wound up doing is using that against her. So be really careful, set boundaries and enforce them. Don't just say, I don't like it. Show it by walking away when that boundary has been crossed. Narcissists test boundaries to see what they can get away with, almost like an unruly child will do that. So will a narcissist. Okay, now let's think about this one right here, the next one, number three. Detach emotionally from their manipulation. You have to stay calm, even cold, when they try to provoke. No reaction, no fuel. No fuel. Okay, they're going to use all that against you. So detach emotionally from their manipulation. Stay calm. What they're trying to do is get you to argue and trying to get you to kid. That's what I've seen people in politics do. Their opponent, what they do when they're running against somebody, or maybe someone else won the election and the old person comes in and they try to manipulate them by working on their emotions, and they try to get them triggered. Okay, like an old hound dog. You've heard this, my grandparents used to say this all the time. They would say, even an old even an old hound dog gets tired and will bite you if you keep on at him. Well, that's what they know. They know that if they can get you started, if they know that they can just trigger you, well, then They got you. They got you right there where they want you. Okay, now let's go on with the next one. And this one is don't explain, argue, or justify yourself. Now, this is what it says. It says the narcissist will twist your words to play the victim. They're always going to be the victim, right? Use the gravy or the gray, gravy, I must be hungry. Use the gray rock method. Be dull, non-engaging, or go no contact wherever possible. Now, I know that that is really, really hard to do when it's a family member, because you got to be there at the Christmas, you got to be there for whatever reasons, and you got to be there for holidays, whatever. But a narcissist will twist your words, and they do play the victim. You know, there's always them. Actually, they're doing it to you, but they're trying to make everybody think you're doing it to them. So you got to be really careful. So use the gray rock method. Be dull. Don't engage as much as you want to. I know, I've been there. You want to just dig in there and just fight them, but you can't do it. You got to let it go, or just go no contact where possible. I had to do that with a family member. Basically, she's the victim all the time. And so I got with her and tried to find out what she was mad at. I mean, I just wanted to know we're family members. So just to find out, what is she mad about? What did I do? And I said, apparently I'm getting Alzheimer's or something. I've done something and I don't know what I've done to you. And she all she would say is, you know. And so, no, I didn't know. I didn't know what she was talking about. So the best thing that I could do, I just didn't let her play the victim anymore in my life. Now, she plays the victim with other people, but not in my life. And when you just use the rock method, again, be dull, non-engaging, or go no contact whenever possible. Because I was getting sick. I was making myself sick. And they don't care if you get sick. They don't care what happens to you. They're only in it for themselves. And that's it. Okay, now, this is another one. This is a short one, but it's extremely important. And it's stop hoping they'll change. Narcissists rarely change. Enabling only waste your time, so focus on what you can control. Now, this is where you're going to probably need help from maybe your better half. Phil has been like a huge, huge help in my life. So it's just like, I kept hoping it would change, and, and it's not going to. But I was wasting a lot of time. I was making myself sick. I'm pretty sure I was irritating Phil. And it's not fair to him for me to irritate him, because based on what a family member does. But I kept hoping, that it would, because I'm a dreamer anyway. I'm a dreamer. I'm hoping it's going to get better, and maybe I'm just imagining. That's another thing they do on you. They say that you imagined that. They say, oh, that didn't really happen. You imagined it. I grew up that way. I grew up in a household where you didn't see that, and I knew darn well I did see it. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to use emotions against you. So again, keep hoping they'll change. First of all, you can't change anyone. And I tried to. I really did. I can't change another human being. I can't think for anybody. I can't hope they're going to do differently. I just can't. What you've got to do is work on you. Okay, the things that you can change about yourself. And I wanted to thank LaRue for sending this to me. And this has really been eye-opening for me as well. But the more I study narcissists and the way they work and the way they communicate, the more it helps me to work with the narcissist in my life. I'm just glad I've got my husband. I'm glad I've got him, because he's been the best thing that ever happened to me. But enabling this person, when you're hoping they're going to change, when you look at them and you feel sorry for them, and I do, what I do, what has got me every time, and it probably gets you when you deal with somebody like that, is you keep hoping they're going to change. The whole situation is going to change. The person in government is going to change. Their senator is going to change. We had a past president. We were hoping he would change, because what we're supposed to do is pray for that person, but you can't change them. You ever heard of you can walk a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? That's absolutely true. And that's true right here as well. So again, narcissists rarely change. That they can. but they hardly ever do because they got to do it, not you. Okay, enabling only wastes time. It wastes your time, it wastes your life, and we got too little time to on this earth, right? Focus on what you can control, and you can control you in the way you handle it and the way it approaches you. Okay, so think about that. Think about yourself some. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to the last one. And this is learn the game so you stop playing it. Learn the game so you can stop playing it. Study narcissistic patterns. They do love bombing, devaluation. They'll discard your beliefs. They'll hover over you. They think they know what's best for you. And I want you to think about this, okay? And we've been talking about this for a long time, where people from the government know better than you. They not everybody. I love President Trump. So he's not like that at all. But what I'm saying is these people think they know better than you do. They think they know your life better than you do. They think that they can change things about you. You just study you. You just work on things that actually work with you. And you're going to find that you get a whole lot better life. Now, when folks are running for office, this is something I beg you to do. And I've been doing this for a very long time, been on the earth a long time, 66 years. So when someone is running for office, I don't take what they say at face value. Because I may have seen something out of that person that just didn't sound at all like they said they were. And don't ignore those things. Okay, if someone in your life is that way, they say they love you, they say that they care about you, but their actions are something else. You need to go with their actions and what they say they are. And again, that's the name of the game. You just got to really go out there. You've got to study people. You've got to ask questions. Let's just say someone is running for dog catcher. We'll just use that for instance. Okay, a lot of people would say it doesn't matter whether a dog catcher is conservative or whether they're a progressive. It kind of does. It does matter, because that's just two different lifestyles. That's two different ways in the way you see the world. Okay, I'm a conservative. If there's a dog and it needs to be put down, I want it to be done that if it has to be, and you can't find somebody to adopt that dog, I want it to be done the most humane way possible. Well, if you hire somebody who doesn't think like you do, they may not think that way at all. They may not even try to find somebody to adopt that dog. So, I mean, every single thing in your life, everything you vote for, every person, every office you vote for, it really does make a difference in your life. A lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter about the city council. It doesn't matter about the mayor. But yes, it does matter about the mayor. It matters who you hang out with. All of those things matter. Okay, so out on the campaign trail, and let's just say someone doesn't have the core beliefs you have. You need to distance yourself from that person. Now, when you ask a question, someone is running for office and you're on a platform and there's a lot of other people around, I do encourage you to be as nice as possible. Don't be dogmatic about it, but ask them what their views are on what they can do. Just ask a simple question. What are your 5 core values? Anybody running for office is going to know what you're talking about. Core values are you. Core values are what you live by. Core values make up the way you handle things. They make up how you handle objections. Core values mean a lot. They really do. A lot of companies come out. I know I've worked several different corporate jobs, and on those corporate jobs, they always said that they had core values. The company itself, when it was brought, probably did have these core values. And then you get other people in management who don't think like you do. You need to be, don't ignore these signs, okay? It's extremely important, and we talked about that. And Bevelyn, I'm going to tell you, she had a really, really hard time. I encourage you to talk with your church and ask your church if they'll show this movie. You need to do that. That word needs to get out. To see what she went through. And you know what? If she could be arrested just for her core values and what she believes in, you can too, and so can I. So we don't want a country like that. So it's extremely important we get the right people in office. And again, we're talking politics, but it's also in your family life. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.